I said we vote because of the blood oath that's been spilled, for our past leaders and ancestors who have all been killed, to fight for a right that we as humans deserve. That's a reason why I vote, but it's only the first. Why vote? You should vote if you care about your community. I mean, look at your everyday life and tell me, what do you see?
Is your voice, is your choice. This is politics, y'all.
School board, if a state representative, if it's a state senator seat, if the city council, whatever the office is, put your bid in there.
I see empowerment as a means of utilizing and activating your powers.
It is a dangerous, dangerous thing when we allow people to circumscribe the possibilities of our own lives.
Do you know about state representatives, governors, mayors, or city council members, attorney generals, sheriffs, judges, and local commissioners? See, there are many positions of power we all have a power to impact. But the true reason why we are enslaved is within us, and that's a fact. Welcome to YVM Young Voices Matter, brought to you live in the Hook and Ladder Theater, co-hosted by N4 Collective and Minnesota Young Champions. Stay tuned with us as we are about to give you the show of the year. Hashtag YVM. Peace. Lights, camera, action. All right. And we are here. How are you all doing today?
Fantastic.
Good.
Excellent.
Great.
Beautiful. Well, us young people, you feel me? We out here combating social stigmas, changing the narrative, and really addressing these stereotypes that young people not active, right? You know, the young people don't voice their opinions, right? You know, we are very much out here doing the work. And I'm very excited to jump into this panel discussion with you all. But before we do that, before we talk about these issues and address some of these things, just introduce to the world who you are as an individual, you know. So let's go around, state your name, where you from, and the work you do and why you do it.
Hey everybody, my name is Lincoln. I'm from South Minneapolis. I'm 17, and I run this organization called Twin Cities Changemakers, and it's basically youth empowerment and youth activism. Basically, any decision that is made about young people should be made with young people at the table, and that's what I believe in. That's why I'm here.
Facts.
Yeah, my name is Yevrah Jama. I'm 16 years old, and I'm born and raised in North Minneapolis. I am the state lead for the Minnesota Youth Climate Strike, and we are a group of high school and college age students that care a lot about environmental and climate inequities in our state. So a lot of my work is revolved around that because there's so many intersections with climate, poverty, racism, and all of those things. Excited to be here.
Hey everybody, my name is Cole Stevens, and I do a lot of different things, but I guess you could say I'm an ambassador at Minnesota Young Champions. I'm a musician, a mixer, multi-instrumentalist, artist, all-around good guy, and yeah.
Hey everyone, my name is Rigoberto Gonzalez. Go by Rigo. I am the proud son of two immigrant parents, and I'm also a student at Minneapolis College, pursuing 3 degrees in criminology, psychology, and Chicano Latino studies. I, like everyone else, am also one of the MN Young Champion ambassadors, and yeah, I try my best to advocate for anything that us in the youth that we need to hear, have our voices heard. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, just amazing. That was the most fire introduction I've seen in a minute. You feel me? Just so much powerful energy here. It's an honor to be able to sit here with you all right now. So really fast, for the people out there who may not know what Minnesota Young Champions is, personally, I've had the privilege to see you all formulate this year and grow. But let the people know what Minnesota Young Champions is and some of the work that you're focusing on right now.
Yeah, so we're a youth-led organization, basically focusing on getting young people in Minnesota to be engaged with what's going on in our state, what's going on in our country. We're doing voter registration. We want to get y'all to be election judges, voters, informed voters, passionate voters, and passionate members of the community. We're also working on this unemployment benefits thing. All Minnesota high school students are not eligible for COVID pandemic benefits. We're the only state like that. It's inequitable, so that's another thing we're working on, is getting those benefits.
Yeah, and that campaign there, I'm sorry to cut you off, I know that campaign has been receiving some amazing feedback, and you've been doing a great job with amplifying those stories and getting them out. And you, Cole, you're somebody that was directly impacted, you know, with that whole campaign and everything. Can you just share with the people your personal experience of what you dealt with this law that prohibits high schoolers to receive unemployment benefits?
I absolutely can. So, you know, I've been working for a long time to actually pay for the bills in my household, and that's not something that you know, every high school student has to go through. But what's messed up about it is that it's disproportionately affecting Black and brown young people who are more likely to actually have to be in that position. So for the Minnesota law to disallow high school students from receiving unemployment benefits, you know, really it is inequitable and it is racist.
Hey, I love that, right? You know, really doing what we need to do to create the change that we want to see. You know, and that's a great transition to our first question of tonight's panel, right? Understanding living in this society that we do live in, there are so many problems that exist. You know, there are so many issues that are out there, you know, but we understand that we can't change everything, you know, at one time. You know, we got to take care of something and then move on to the next. So my question for you all, what is the public issue that matters to you the most and why?
I am a huge proponent of equality of opportunity. So for me personally, I'm an entrepreneur. Being not white is harder to get into entrepreneurial endeavors. It's harder to get loans. It's harder to get, you know, business opportunities, jobs, things like that. And it's been that way for a very, very long time. There's been a structure in America where they say that Black people have equal rights, but then they're not going to let you go get that home loan, and then you're not able to build that generational wealth, and then your next generation of kids aren't going to have anything when they graduate, and then it's going to be harder for them to get into college and all these sorts of things. So really this sort of opportunity gap and this wage gap and this economic gap and really this prosperity gap that we're seeing right now is something that's been built over hundreds of years and needs to change. So I would say, you know, equality of opportunity, economic opportunity, and just opportunity to prosper and help your community.
I love that answer, Cole. I mean, for me, I think the public issue I care most about is education, because I really believe like education is the foundation of our society. And so many, I feel like it's really linked to all of these other issues. Like if this public school system isn't serving you, then it's connecting you to the criminal justice system with like the school prison pipeline. Like I just really feel like our public schools are not preparing young people for the world. That's why we got so many young people who feel disempowered, who feel disengaged, because you spend 12 years in an institution that tells you that your voice doesn't matter and the only thing you can do to be successful is to conform and to study for these tests about information that isn't actually going to take you anywhere. It's just, you got to learn it just so you can pass the test, just so you can get like a certain grade or a certain number, which honestly all of these things that they're teaching us are irrelevant to the 21st century, and they're not things I'm interested in. I feel like a big myth about school is that, you know, people say like it sucks. School should be enjoyable. It should be something that I'm having a good time, that I'm able to like explore my passions and in a way that helps me develop into a whole human being, so that by the time I graduate from high school, I know what I like, I have work experience, I have a way to build income, I have a way to sort of like take the next step into the rest of my life. And I feel like it's just there is no school out there in this entire country that is, you know, meeting all of these needs. And I kind of think that we need to just rebuild this entire thing. I really think students and teachers need to redesign the entire education system, and that's the only way we're ever going to have it be equitable, and we're ever going to have it be something that is actually useful to our society and useful to the youth. So that's the issue for me.
I just want to say number one, beautiful. Number two, one little side note is really what's needed today is free thinkers, and you know, what school is doing is teaching you how to obey and how to really be a factory worker.
How to conform.
I agree a lot with what you said. I think it ties a lot into like the things that I care about. one of the biggest issues for me that I personally care about is like climate justice and environmental justice. And I think the lack of education is something that's seen so often, because we talk about climate change and then people in the same grade as me think, oh, that's like 20 years away. Oh, that's a century away, when, you know, the impacts of climate change have already begun and the impacts of environmental racism are already present in our own society. And I used to live in North Minneapolis. That's where I was born and raised.
North side.
Hey. And, you know, there's all the factories that are there in our neighborhood. And right when we go outside, there's just air pollution that comes in. There's the 2 highways that are right next to us. And over again, we just go outside, we breathe in these toxins. And, you know, we get told, oh, it's because it's normal, like it's what you're used to. And I think that because of the lack of education around it, nobody really tells us that, you know, the fact that air pollution exists, the fact that it's in a majority Black neighborhood is wrong, and it's environmental racism in itself. So I think that once we start addressing these issues of the environment, of the climate, we start getting into the way racism is perpetuated, the way homelessness is perpetuated, the way education fits into all of these things. And, you know, just the fact that it's also intersectional is something that I care a lot about.
Gotta save the planet.
Yeah. Nah, man. I think it's a tough, difficult question to answer, and not in the aspect that it's like a tough question, but like there's just too many answers, and that should give you an idea to just like choose one. It should give you an idea of like how messed up we're living in, like as the youth, you know. But I most definitely agree. Like every aspect, like we all come together, and like when one of our first meetings, like the first thing they told us was, you guys all have different stories, different backgrounds, different struggles, different battles, but you'll all like through time you'll find a way to like connect all of them and like have that same goal. One of them for me, like for sure, would be like immigrational rights. Like I said, I'm a proud son of 2 immigrant parents, and like I would remember like coming home and seeing like my mom cry because someone told her to go back to her home country, or she didn't like have the proper dialogue or the proper language to speak English, you know what I mean? So stuff like that has always been impactful in my life. Or just like Lincoln said, I 100% completely agree. Educational, like bridging that gap of like giving up on high schoolers or even middle schoolers from such a young age should tell you something about what's wrong with the system, you know what I mean? Just having that term dropout and not even listening to the students, but you're pushing them out of the system. People think that students gave up on the system, but the system gave up on them. And no one ever talks about that. So again, to answer your question, I can't just choose one, just because there's so many. There's racism, there's police brutality, there's ageism, there's everything in this world that like, it just needs to be changed. And I think it speaks volume when you see 4 out of so many members of the youth in this state, in this nation, that wants to just like be that change. So yeah, I don't think there's one specific answer, honestly, if I want to throw that back at you. My bad, Louis.
Man, that's 100. Man, that's the beauty of life, right?
Yeah.
And freedom. You know, like we get asked questions all the time, but do we really have to answer the question? You know, like we get policies thrown at us, but like honestly, it's a lot of policies that personally I'm not interested in obeying. You know, so, yeah. That's
just
like
because it's the law doesn't make it right.
Exactly, right? Like there has to be a line, a balance between law and morality. Seriously, like for the one, actually the one example that happened here at Powderhorn Park, I remember like a month ago, when we had our homeless population, you know, staying in tents there, and the police got a call and they had to go there and strip everybody out of their homes, and you know, and it's like, you know, just morally that's not right. You know, like I know an officer who was doing their job, or at least I hope an officer that was doing their job felt something in their soul, feel like this is not right. You know, so I think about that all the time. So thank you very much for all of those amazing answers. I want to follow and say, I want to share my public issue that I feel like is one that, well, at least one that I focus on, really is the fact that a lot of us are dealing with trauma. A lot of us individuals, you know, we come from generational trauma that's been passed down so many years before us. And the fact that we must heal and transform, you know, And I personally believe the keys are self-care, you know, self-confidence, understanding your worth and your existence, you know, knowing that
They
you...
don't teach that in school.
Exactly, they don't teach that in school, right?
But that's
And
what they should be
self-expression
teaching.
is what they should be teaching, right? But hey, we are the new leaders, you know, and if they not teaching it, then we gonna teach it, you know, create our own schools, you feel me? Do what we have to do. Yeah, that's amazing.
And
Thank you.
that's what you just said is really what we're trying to get out to everybody. We're trying to get that message out to everybody, because you see us up here, this could very well be you. This could very well be your little brother, your little sister, or your friends and your family up here too. And we all are gonna have to do this and come together to make this change this coming November 3rd. So let's get more youth at the booth and let's all get to
More
that
youth
polls.
at the booth.
Yes, sir.
Most definitely. Hashtag more youth at the booth. Take it. All right, beautiful. So transitioning to our next question now, what our theme represent. Can you all just share one key moment in your life that helped define who you are today?
That's a really big question.
That's a big question.
Yeah, that's a big
It's a
one.
big question. You see, it's kind of funny too, because, you know, like Rigo said, it's really hard to think of one policy, one public issue. And it's pretty hard for me to think of one moment, but what I can say is a collection of moments will have to be in that I have come to realize that where I belong in this world, what I was put here to do is to bridge the gap. So for me personally, you know, I was always too black to be white and too white to be black. And so I could get along with both of these communities of people, and I understood both of these communities having, you know, both of my sides of the family being basically what's often thought of as opposite worlds, when really we all human. And getting that, I be getting asked too a lot. It's like, which do you identify with more? And it's like, I identify with me. I identify as Cole Stevens. And I think what I'm trying to say here is I am a bridge maker in that aspect. I bridge the gap, and, you know, I always try to preach the fact that we are all people. We're all humans. We might have different color skin. We might have different backgrounds. We might have different people that, you know, gods that we pray to. But at the end of the day, we just want the best for ourselves and our families.
You know, that actually made me think of the way I want to answer this question. And I want to bring in what Lewiee was saying before about trauma, and I think that it's important for people to talk about the trauma that they've experienced in order to use that as a tool for change. And so something that I've experienced, some of the trauma that has gone on in my life and in my people, in my community, is when I was learning about my Jewish heritage. I was in Poland learning about the Holocaust. And this is a little bit dark, but I feel like I've never shared this like with a group of people before, and I think that it's important to talk about these things, and I hope that me doing this is going to be helpful for the people watching and the people here. But we were at this camp called Majdanek, and you go through and you have this whole experience where you learn about the way that my people, the Jewish people, were treated and held like animals, basically, and treated like they were less than human. And you go through that experience. It's everything that you've learned about. It's, you know, the gas chambers. It's all of these things. And then at the very end, we were walking sort of out of the camp, and there's this huge like concrete dome, kind of looks like a UFO, like maybe, I don't know, 50 to 100 feet around. And we were confused. We didn't know what it was. We thought we'd seen everything. This wasn't something we were expecting. And you go up this staircase, and you stand there, and there's this mountain of human ashes, and you look in it, and you can see that there are bones there, and you can see that there are pieces that were human beings, because at the very end, like, Germany knew they were losing, and they had to kill a bunch of people like as quickly as possible, and they had to hide the evidence. And so this was like a turning point for me, because it's one thing to learn about all of these horrors that happened, and then it's another thing to stand there and see a mountain of human ashes who are my people, and who are people who had their own lives and had like whole experiences. And so I think about this moment a lot when I'm thinking about, I don't know, trying to make change and trying to make the world a better place, because it's sometimes hard for me to understand, as I feel like I exist in a world full of love and loving people, and so it's hard for me to even comprehend that exists in the same world of love that I live in. And that's just something that I come back to sometimes. And I don't really have like a point or like a inspirational message connected to this, but I think it's important to talk about these things so that we make sure that that type of stuff does not happen again, and that we can, I don't know, because I believe that humans are not that. Like, that is not a product of humanity. Like we are creatures of love and kindness, and that's what we're on this earth to do, is to experience those things and to put those things out into the world. And I just thought I would share that because I think that it was powerful for me, and it continues to be powerful for me.
I want to just follow up and say that is empowering, especially to hear that narrative, and coming from your lens. It's actually liberating, for a person like me as well. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for the courage to share that as well, and respecting the space, and trusting the space to be able to share that with the world. And most definitely it will inspire, a viewer that's watching. And actually, I'm big on this. I know y'all probably know from my past experience, but right now I just need to take a breath. You feel me? Because when we have something that deep and that heavy hop on us, I'm big into mindfulness and deep breathing and really self-care. And what I've been able to learn when I did a little studying of trauma was that trauma lives in our nervous system. But we can take a breath, and that is literally like the pause. It causes our brain to pause, and shift, and it brings in the what's the name? The sympathetic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, actually. Just to help you remind that you calm and everything. So I'm gonna just take a breath, and you all can join with me. Just 4 for 4. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and exhale for 4 seconds. Let's do it. Inhale. And there we go, baby. Turning our trauma into traction. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah. One, I appreciate us taking the breath. I also really admire your resilience and courage for sharing that. And I think that, going back to your question, I think my experience also stems from trauma. When I was 11 years old, I witnessed my older cousin being arrested and the FBI raiding our house. And, 5 years later, now I'm 16, and just, going back and forth with and visiting my cousin, going on road trips to go and see him and coming back, I think it's left me reflecting in the way that our world is created, and also the way in which a lot of things around us are criminalized. And, going back to the point that you mentioned earlier, right, just because something is law doesn't mean that it's correct. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, being 11 years old, you're always seen as well, the police are this, and they're always correct. And it just took me a couple years after being able to process and acknowledge the trauma of witnessing something like that at such a young age, and then really understanding the depths of policing in our system, in our world, and in Black and brown communities. And that kind of really led me to educating myself more about policy and the structure of it. And that's kind of what led me to become a community organizer now and being invested in this work.
Mine's is a bit different, honestly. I just want to start off by saying thank you to everyone for sharing that too, just because I know that could be very personal to share. But I remember when we first started our meetings, they asked us to do public/personal narratives so we could share each other's stories and understand everyone a bit more. And I remember just going about my story and mentioning my parents and all the sacrifices that they made, all the family, loved ones, friends that they left behind to give my sister and I a better lifestyle here in the United States. And I just remember reading it and reading it, and the deeper I got into it, I remember just breaking down in front of them, a group of strangers that I had no idea who they were, anything about them. And I just remember feeling it was a safe space for me. But anything with the traumas that worriment of if your dad's driving from the way home and he doesn't have a license and he gets pulled over, he immediately gets booted out of the country and you lose your dad. And that's something that's as a 7th grader or a 5th grader, you don't have to be worrying about any of that stuff, That's how messed up it is. And I remember that always being impactful in my own life. One situation particularly that I can always think of for sure when I get asked a question like this would be like, I went to a very predominantly white high school, which is almost all the high schools now in Minnesota, honestly. And I was told from a counselor my senior year that I really shouldn't just like, I had a horrible GPA and I shouldn't worry about applying to colleges, universities, and I was better off just finding a full-time job, honestly, that bluntly. And I took a gap year, and I remember him always saying that, like, if you take a gap year, only 1 in 10 students goes back to college or university. And I just remember pushing and always telling myself that I wanted to be that one student. And going from a counselor in a predominantly white school institution telling you that you're not going to make it and, like, just looking down at you, to, like, now going to your sophomore year of Minneapolis College, having 3 associate's degrees, a 3.7 GPA, that, like, and not my bad, I didn't mean it to, like, sound cocky or anything, but, like, go ahead. That like motivates you, you know what I mean? Like, I grew up, like, a lot of us here, like, grew up from nothing. Like, we grew up from nothing to get something in life. Maybe at the moment you don't know what it is, but, like, a lot of people didn't make it. I lost a lot of family members, whether it was to crimes or whatever. It's just, I grew up in the hood too. You know, I grew up in Southside Minneapolis, where, like, you didn't get to mix up a bullet with a firework because people didn't afford fireworks in your neighborhood, you know what I mean? So knowing that I've been able to live past that with your counselor telling you, you know what, find a full-time job, to, like, you know, getting 3 degrees, a 3.7 GPA, and transferring to the University of Minnesota, that's something that, like, I know my parents gave that ultimate sacrifice for myself, and that's something that's always motivated me and sparked that inside me. Just like my parents 100% being there and giving my sister and I that lifestyle, that opportunity that they never received. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Just really up here speaking our truths, you know. It's always an inspirational thing, you know, and it's a sign of empowerment. And that's exactly what we need, you know. We need to let people know that it's okay to speak your truth, you know, and it's okay to shine your light, and be a young champion, you feel me? Like these young champions up here. All right, but yeah, that's beautiful. So now transitioning to our next question here, and, you know, we still figuring this out, right? You know, we still figuring out. We don't got all the answers, you know, but we have ideas, you know, and we here literally doing the work. But I would like for you all to share with the audience, you know, how do you feel we can engage young people into politics?
Yeah. Well, one thing that I will say is that, myself included, and this might be a product of the internet, this might be a byproduct of just, maybe it's in the water, bro, but we got short attention spans. And let me be honest with you, the one thing that didn't work, I'll tell you what didn't work, is walls of text and just, like, basically people lecturing you, you know, at schools and whatnot. Young people are kind of less concerned with, I think, just all of the nonsense and all of the bureaucracy and all of the extra stuff, and we really just want the substance, and we want it quick, dirty, fast. And I think what really needs to be going on is that we need to talk to young people in the way that they talk to each other. Get straight to the point. Tell them, look, what's going on around you that you don't like? What's going on around you that negatively impacts you? What does your family not have? What do your peers not have? What does your school not have? What do you not have to get to where you want to be? Go out there and demand it. Go out there and say, I'm done scraping at the bottom of the barrel, you know? Say, I need resources, because there's so much untapped potential with really all the young people in this country, all the young people who have been told, you know, you're too young to understand, or you wouldn't get it, or all that. You know, I really think that that's a big thing, is we always tell them they're too young to understand, or, you know, maybe one day I'll talk to you about that. No, they need to know right now, because it's real out here.
Yeah, I think it comes back to education always. Like, I like, speaking from personal experience, I have not done very much real learning in a classroom or a school building. the most important learning that I've done, the thing that got me to care about my community, is like being out in the community and doing work in the community. And I've been lucky enough to like have had that as a part of my like educational experiences. And like it's unfortunate that young people are not encouraged to do that, and I feel like instead young people are talked down on and said, you know, you're not really old enough to have an opinion about this. I don't like you're not responsible enough to do this. But like that's all BS. Like all of these young people just need to be given the opportunity, given the chance to contribute to their community, because I guarantee you, like I get told a lot like by adults in kind of a patronizing way, like, wow, I'm so proud, like you do so much, like how like that's so, you're so special like that. No, every single person my age has the same amount of opinions, and if they don't have the same amount of passion, it's because it has been squashed out of them on purpose. And that's something that we really need to correct, because it's our own fault that it's like that. I mean, not my fault personally, but you know, it's the system's fault. So like this is just something like, part of your education, part of everyone's education should be contributing to their community, should be helping people. You know, if you want to like start a community garden, if you want to volunteer, if you want to make sure the community can feed itself, can provide for itself, like this is the type of stuff that I think all young people need to be encouraged to do, because it forms this like attachment and this like sense of care and like mutual aid with the community. And then you have all these young people who really care about their community, and not only do they care, but they actually know what they can do to be useful, and they feel like they have a purpose and like something. They feel like I always know, like if I'm ever feeling disheartened or whatever, I remind myself that the work that I do actually helps at least one other person. And everybody needs to have that feeling, and that's something that young people are not really given. It's not responsibility that we're ever given. So it all comes back to education.
Yeah, Lincoln stole everything that I was gonna say.
My bad.
Right there.
Yeah, education is definitely key, right? Like knowledge is power. And you know, me being a young person, I didn't know a single thing about who my representatives were until like a year ago. And it's because these things are not really taught to us. They're not brought to us. Yeah. And I think a lot of times when adults, you know, say the same patronizing thing like, oh, you're so inspiring. Oh, it's so cool to see a youth like you. It's like, no, like we exist. We're here. You're just not tapping into that energy. You're not meeting young people where they're at. You're not coming to us. You're waiting for us to come to you, but you're not giving us anything to get there. Right? And so I think that just making sure that we're doing community organizing, we have space for youth to show up, having events that youth are comfortable with, instead of us talking, you know, instead of adults talking to youth, it's youth talking to youth, like youth events for youth, right? For youth, by youth. And that's the only way we'll build power. We don't build power by sitting down and having an adult talk down to us for 30 minutes on something we already know about, you know?
It's like talk to us, not at us.
Right,
yeah. That was big though, something that we already know about though. Because that's one thing that I struggle with a lot, with like, you know, older people who's been here longer than us, you know, and going back to what I said when we opened it up, it's a lot of social stigmas that we out here breaking, right? Stereotypes. It's like people just assume we don't know certain things, when it's like actually one of the powers within N4, the N4 collective with new leadership, we state that the wise are young and the young are wise, right? You know, we acknowledge that we have experiences too. We have narratives, you know, whether you're 13, 21, you feel me, 8, you feel me, you have a certain level of understanding. You've been impacted by your environment, by your community and your connection, you know, so yeah, that was just great. Yeah. Thank you.
It's tough to go last because like everyone's taking all the good ideas. No, I would have to say that most definitely, like, I would say that it's time for us to like bet on ourselves, you know, like put all your money in, and just like, this might sound wrong, but eventually like the older generations won't be here. So we have to take that initiative where like if they don't want to teach us, we got to learn ourselves. So we got to take that step. I most definitely see like social media playing a huge role into our lives, the way it's grown throughout the years. I feel like it has enough power as long as like, you know, it's used in the right way. I've always had this motto that like a mentor once taught me. His name is Lewiee Blaze. he's a professor at Minneapolis College, and something he like taught me and always lives by me is that in life you have to be able to teach to learn and learn to teach. And if you use that with the youth, I can assure you it's gonna be an easy flow from here on out. So it's just, you know, there's so many great ideas, and like Cole said, it could be anyone up here. You know, it could be your brother, your sister, your friends, family, anyone. You know what I mean? So I think just being able to watch this, just taking time out of your day to educate yourself and hear our stories makes you a great leader. You know what I mean? I think everyone here up here, including South Louis, great leaders in our society, showing their activism in each and every form that they can. So I most definitely take that into my heart very deeply, where it's like you got to teach to learn and you got to learn to teach, man. So yeah,
Absolutely. Beautiful answers. Like, honestly, you know, and there's no cap right now, right? No cap. Let me just say that, no cap. This is the best panel discussion I've been a part of in my entire life. You feel me? And you feel me? I've been on the panel out, you know, at Stanford University, you know, I've been to Harvard, you feel me? Been down south to the South by Southwest in Texas, did the thing there. You know, we did a few huge panels here at the Giant Steps Conference. Shout out to the Giant Steps fam. You know, and a lot of those spaces, I was the youngest person involved, you feel me? But this has been the best panel discussion ever. You know, regardless of age, regardless of what title, how successful somebody may have been, you know, on that couch. Feel me? This right here has been so insightful, you know, and very just empowering. You know, I just keep coming back to that word for a reason. You know, it's very empowering. Can just really briefly, you know, while we're wrapping up right here, can you like share with the audience your ages? Because I feel like that right there is like let them know like we really cooking up here. Like just share with folks y'all age. You feel me?
Sure. I'm 17.
I'm 16.
18.
I actually feel old. I'm 22.
Okay,
So-
hey, I'm 22 too. You know, so we
So-
both
so
we
Louis
both
and I
the
get
old
it.
cats up here.
Yeah.
You know? Old cats up.
Ancient.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. This was absolutely amazing though. So right now, I'll just leave it to you all and freely go with whatever you want to do. But just give the audience one final statement. You know, some words of wisdom, inspiration. You know, a message that you want to leave the folks with before we close here.
So one of the phrases that I have up on like all of my social media platforms is none of us are free until we all are free. And I think that's a statement that like speaks the most to me, speaks the most to like my work and everything, because there are so many things that are intersectional, and we can't talk about liberating one group of people without talking about the liberation of all people. You know, if we want to be free, we have to be free together. We have to work within this movement together. We have to stand together as a community. That's something that I deeply believe in. I don't think we can get anywhere without people power.
People power. Man, one thing I just want to say is that, you know, self-destructive behaviors as a product of trauma is you know, some that I think we all go through. And it's just that, you know, the change really starts with you, and it starts with that introspective, that self-journey of being able to, you know, kind of rewire those self-destructive tendencies, because you can. The trauma is what's going to make you you, and the trauma is going to make you beautiful. The beauty is in the struggle. And, you know, a lot of people will tell you, you know, you can't do this. And guess what? Nobody can their first time. So make your first time early on in your life, because you're physically more open-minded as a young person. You're all very powerful people, and you can do anything, but just go out and make those mistakes. Learn to love those mistakes, because that's a learning experience. Don't take losses, take lessons.
Jim, drop it. Love it.
Well, What I gotta say is that I feel like as a young person, you know, just being on social media, there's just so much negative information that's coming in all the time, and it can be hard not to feel like you have a personal responsibility to do something about every problem all around the world, because this is like the first, you know, decade where we know every single bad thing that's happening all at once, and it can be so overwhelming to be like, well, you know, I know that I should care about what's going on, and maybe I want to be involved in politics and I want to be an active citizen, but everything just seems so horrible. So like, where do I even start? Like, what do I even do? And that's really difficult. And I'm honestly, like, I'm really sorry that people are put in this situation, because I think it has a really negative toll on our mental health. And so first of all, everyone needs to prioritize their mental health. This is serious. Your mental health comes first before absolutely everything else. That's number one. You can't do anything else before you take care of yourself. And then the second thing is that, like start small. Like it feels like all these issues are national issues, like something with the president, something with the Supreme Court, with the, you know, that's not something that you can touch, because they can't touch you as much as you can touch your community. And what it's about, and the most power that you can build is on the local level, and with the people that you know personally, and with the community that you exist in every day. Like, I guarantee you that you can make such a huge impact if what you do is just focus on the people around you and bettering their lives. And that's what I think about, because sometimes I feel like I'm not having a big enough impact on the world, and I'm not fixing things quickly enough or well enough. But I remind myself that it's not just on me to do it. We're all going to be doing this together, because if everybody is focusing on their own local community, and every community is healing simultaneously, the whole world is healing at the same time. And it's not your responsibility to heal someone else's community. You got to start with your own. You got to start with your own mental health, heal yourself, heal your community, and then everyone heals together. And there we go.
That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Like, you just really liberated me with that, because I am too that person who, I'm just a problem solver, right? You know, and I just feel like I want to work on this, I want to work on that. Like, I got to be out here doing these things. But you just reminded me to understand it, like, you know, not here alone. You know, it is a community of individuals that's working towards the same goals. So, yeah, facts.
Wow. So I think that one huge takeaway that I've been able to learn myself, and like Lewiee, you mentioned generational trauma, especially during the quarantine when you're just like stuck at home and, you know, you're going insane. I think something that I've been able to learn is that you need to not live in the past and stop worrying about the future, but learn to live in the present. And I've been able to tie that with that specific piece. I've been able to tie that with Aztec ancestral like meanings and ideologies, and they've said this multiple times, and I think that this ties in with all of us regardless of our backgrounds and like who we are. It like unites us, but it went along the lines of saying they tried to bury us without knowing that we were the seeds. And that means a lot to us, because we are the roots of this society, this country, all of this. And which is why I say bet on yourself now, because you need to stop worrying about the past, all that other stuff. Focus on who you are, live in the moment. And that's most definitely something that I've tried my best to live by. And after everything, I agree with everyone and their final pieces, just beautiful pieces. It's kind of hard to top that, you know? So.
Oh, no, but you just,
No,
that was
so
it,
you
though.
just
You
did.
just brought it all together, bro. You just brought it all together, because really, every single one of, you know, everything that we say here, I mean, that's like the foundation, is living in the moment. It's the healing comes from the inside out. You're not going to find it out there and then bring it in. So
I'm the oldest, and they're always teaching me. You see that?
Exactly.
It's like that.
Like you said, you know, teach to learn. Learn
Yeah.
to teach.
Yep.
Exactly. I love it.
So I got a question. Why are you gonna vote?
I'm not old enough to vote.
I can't
Good
either.
idea. You can't old enough to vote either.
I can't.
Why are you gonna vote?
I'm gonna vote because the planet is on fire. There's there's hurricanes outside of hurricane season that are destroying entire populations and communities, and people are saying that the effects of climate change are fake. Oh my God. I'm voting because without a planet, we got no problems to solve.
Come on now.
I'm gonna vote for my family, honestly, just because I know a lot of people say that we won't have an impact or there won't be a change, I know we can be that change. And I know that just by that one vote that I can make, I can help my family from all the suffrage, all the discrimination, and all the people that I stand in solidarity with that have gone through police brutality, racism, all the police murders out there. I know that with that one vote, it's just one vote, but it means so much. So just taking your time to go out and vote, like Louie's piece, just do it. Be that change. That one vote is so impactful and it can change so much in our society. So yeah.
Be the change you want to see.
Thank you, Lincoln.
What was that?
Be the change you want to see.
Why vote? I vote because it is one of my only rights as an American. Not to mention an African American. An African without heritage and an American with no inheritance. And therefore, I'm the only one that's capable of changing my narrative. Why vote?
Engage. Engaging in your community and speaking up for what you believe in is the very foundation of our country. When this is not respected, this entire system shall crumble. Something like this.
Well said, Louie. Now let's see what it looks like not to be engaged.
Let's take, for example, Billy. Billy lives in the age of information and technology. When it comes to piglets and other cute animals on the internet, Billy is fully engaged. But when it comes to politics, he could really care less.
Don't be that guy. I'm gonna tell you what you could do. 1, you can follow your local news channels and stay updated on the issues and elections. 2, you can make sure that you look for multiple sources and make sure to look for opposing items as well and keep your own opinion. 3, you can check out this website here. Yep, go ahead, check out that link. Literally, all you have to do is type in your address and look up your state representatives and senators. Be that guy. Peace.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Yevrah, and this is Young Voices Matter, and I'll start with a track titled Euphoria. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, hey. Yeah, yeah. Wilder than safari, a jungle tribe of Javaria. Never feeling sorry, the feeling stuck in euphoria. Higher than the mothership, fire burned on a starry night. Round and round in circles, a highway and a Ferrari ride. It's looking like a buffalo. You heard that right. I said we gotta get it, you should know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Journey to beyond and over yonder. I'm just wondering if I harness the strength that's on my palm. This poetry, something like venom in its potency. It spoke to me like a burning bush. Kush Mountain, Pakistan. Trip with me and oversee the mind of mastery. Gift to be product of blasphemy. Like what it had to be. Like what a tragedy, but happy anyway. Cause what don't fathom me. Past happenings created me what I supposed to be, a bomb. Hope they don't set it off. Got you ringing the alarm. Drop the bag, you carry it in, I'll carry it on. Throw it at the White House, catching flames upon the lawn. Rebels rubber reaping freedom, watch it burn to break of dawn. Yeah, burn to break of dawn. Rebel reaping freedom, watch it burn to break of dawn. Yeah, burn to break of dawn. Rebels rebel reaping freedom, watch it burn to break of dawn. All my nights I feel like I've been flying with the stars. I feel like I've been peaking, but I have not reached that far. No, don't know where I'm going, but I know I can't turn back. No, we too beyond and over yonder. Hit the gas, They wanna blow me out the water like finding Atlantis. Praying menace with the grip that handles the hand manual blessings. Stressing all of the justice, it's justified. A black knight in a cloak like Danny Phantom. Poltergeist to your camera, the coach, a vulture that boasted. I empty the holster and shoot it straight at your throat, kid. Why you spit it like it's a nasty taste from the potion? Whipping up the light on my darkness, that green with toasted. Here you know I goes in. Vulnerable youth became everything. Everything ain't what it seems. On to better things. We've been through a little bit of everything. Smoking that cliche, don't get away too far. This better bring the vibe. Melanin in the pop is carbonated and you dry mouth. Gentiles rip it out of hide. Ride to the west now, drown under the tide as we rise up, vibing with our heads to the sky. Shine, shine, yeah. Shine, don't ever dim your light. Shine, 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 don't ever dim your light. Shine, yeah, shine, shine, don't ever dim your light. Shine, shine, shine. Wilder than safari, a jungle tribe of Jabari. Never feeling sorry, the feeling stuck in euphoria. Higher than the mothership, fire burn on a starry night. Running round in circles, a highway in a Ferrari ride. It's looking like a buffalo. Yeah, hey. I said we gotta get it, you should know. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey. Again, my name is Yevrah, and this is Young Voices Matter. We know that Black Lives Matter, but we gonna make sure that we know that Black Lives Matter at Young Voices Matter. Oh man, give it up for the band behind this. Oh, they're so amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for that amazing performance. Everybody at home, give it up one more time for Yevrah. That way. All right, brother. So thank you very much for joining us today here at Young Voices Matter. Now, following your performance, I would like to ask you a few questions that relate to social justice. As we know, hip-hop is social justice, right?
Right.
Having that self-expression and liberating ourselves and empowering ourselves and, empowering others through that art. So my question for you today would be, what inspires you to create the art that you do?
I would say what inspires me to create the art that I do is honestly the life that I live. I feel like, we as Black people, we go through a lot of hardship and disparities, and I like to talk about that. I like to educate about that in my music, but I also like to pretty much bring a vibe with it, make sure that people can actually feel while actually, educating themselves. So yeah, that's why I make the music.
100, 100. That vibe, and I know you got that tagline vibe. Can you let the people know what vibe is all about?
Yes, so I have this mantra vibe, and it's an acronym. It stands for the vulnerable youth became everything. And it's pretty much because, you know, I believe that the youth are the future, and we have to be fully invested in them to make sure that our world will continue to change for the better. So, yeah, that's the vibe. Vulnerable youth became everything.
100, 100. Then this next question, brother, can you tell us, what does freedom mean to you?
What does freedom mean to me? Honestly, the first thing that I think about when I think about freedom is I think everybody able to walk in their backyards and see fruit trees and be able to pick from them freely. Just everybody having equitable, actual human rights. And I know people are, you know what I'm saying, so hell-bent on civil rights right now, but like, we human, like we gotta actually, you know what I'm saying, treat each other with care. That's honestly what I see freedom as. Freedom is honestly land. The land is free. The land has been free for everybody, you know.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, brother. Well, thank you very much. Just one time before you leave, let the people know where they can find you. Let them know you got something out going on. Speak to the people. One last message.
You can find me on Instagram at IM_Yevrah, and then YVRH, that is Yevrah everywhere else. I have music up on all digital platforms, so you know what I'm saying. Check the kid out. It's a vibe.
Well, I hope you are enjoying the show. We are here with our very first keynote speaker and very special guest. Thank you so much, Miss Kartumu King. You are light. You are inspiration. Thank you for joining us here today with Young Voices Matter. And just to begin, can you just let the audience know who you are and give them a brief description of what you do and your background?
Thank you for having me, first of all. My name is Kartumu King. I am originally from Liberia. I've been in Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, since the age of 8. I normally say I was born in Liberia, grown in St. Paul. At the present time, I started my own business. It's called Accountable Cultural Brokers, because we need accountability in everything that goes on in politics. And I'm also now the new elected political action chair and civic engagement for the NAACP St. Paul.
That's beautiful. Congratulations. You said that was new. When did you get that title?
About 2 months ago.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
fresh.
I was elected 2 months ago. So.
Yeah, it's been amazing to like watch your journey, you know, over the years that we've known each other, being out here in these streets together, you know, boots on the ground. And I got to let you know, you were a huge inspiration for me on my come up as a young person, you know, with the simple fact that when I met you, you was running for office at the time, right? A black woman running for office like that. That right there within itself was changing the narrative. Like, can you just briefly let me know, like, and let the audience know how that experience was for you?
It was the best experience in the world. Me personally, I've been a fighter all my life. Coming from Africa to America, I had to learn the whole history of America. And once I realized that my skin color, even though I wasn't born here, could affect anything that I had to do in life, I made a promise to myself, or I don't like promises, so it wasn't a promise, but I made some type of, I don't even know the word to say, but just to know that, exactly, that I'm just going to do everything I could do in my power to try to make a difference. So going through life and all that it has to bring, I went through that, and running for office really came at a time where I was really, really going through some things. I had been affected with social services, with my kids being taken away, and God blessed me where I was put in a space where I could see how government worked. And once I realized that the people who were in these seats to make decisions on my life weren't taking my input into account when they were making these decisions, and I was really being affected on whatever decisions they were making, I had to take the law into my own hands and try to be the change that I wanted to see. So that's how that went.
Amen. Amen. Thank you for that. Be the change that you want to see.
Amen.
Yeah, quote that. So Young Voices Matter. We are doing this 1 hour special with the mission and purpose to educate and engage young people to get out here and impact this election, and not just this election, but understand that they have a right to vote, and we are empowered, and our specific target audience are the ages of 18 through 24, because me, myself being 22, I understand that we are disengaged, and we disempowered, and I just want to do everything that I could as a young person to exemplify that leadership and get our people educated and get us out here to vote. So with that being said, we chose you for our engaged theme because you are somebody who's always engaging. We're literally working together right now with the Run Like Harriet movement out here, getting people registered to vote. And I got a question for you. What does the word engagement means to you?
Being open, because as far as when it comes to engaging in the community, you got to be able to come out your body. You got to realize that people are people, so just be open to new people, be open to new experiences, and be willing to talk to other people, communication, be able to learn, talk to somebody else just to understand where they're coming from. So engagement, you really have to be open to other people, open to other ideas, and open to new experiences.
That's a very powerful answer. Transparency, right?
Yep,
and being able to empathize
yes.
with one another, that's huge. And I noticed that out here doing our work, when we're kind of like canvassing on the street, sometimes it is hard to engage with folks because the idea of being vulnerable is really scary for people, and the actual act of being open is very hard for individuals who constantly feel silence and silence. So to have the courage to open up and actually be engaging is everything. And I just want to thank you for that. That was a great answer.
Thank you.
Yes. And that brings us to our next question today. When was it when you got engaged in your community and into politics?
Like I said, I've always been engaged, but I got the opportunity in 2016 to really see how my city worked. It gave me opportunities that I never thought I would have. And I just went full force in everything, learning how policies are being made, who controls what, how the money's being spent. I've always wanted to be a lawyer because I felt like the best way to win anything is to know the law, because that's what we're fighting against, So I've always been involved some way, somehow, throughout my life, because I always look out for other people. I'm always explaining stuff to people because people don't understand things. So I think this is just something I have in me. And so when I just got the opportunity to see how everything was working, I just had to jump in there and roll up my sleeve and get ready to work. That's what I do. I work, and I work hard.
Right?
Yes, that's what I do.
Work hard, play hard, work hard all the time. And that's most definitely validated over here. I most definitely have seen you in action and everything. And I heard you mention issues with child protection services earlier in our conversation. I actually relate to that topic. I too have been a victim of the child protection service system, and having that really disconnect my immediate family, which has been very difficult to deal with, but I find it a blessing for us as a people, we're always resilient, and we always overcome our obstacles, some way, somehow. I just wanted to share that to be like a transition to our next question of the night. I want to ask you, what is the public issue that you care about the most, and why? And I know that could be a hard question to like pick one public issue of all of these issues, but like if you could choose one public issue that you really care about the most, what is it and why?
A big thing that I think is not being done is the engagement, especially the engagement with community. Since I've been in this politic world, I go to forums, and it seems like it's a lot of us asking our representative or whoever is at the table for what we want, as if they're the boss, rather than telling them what we want. Because what people need to realize is we elect these people. They're up there working for us. So if something's happening that we don't like, we could fire them. You are a boss. If you didn't know, you are. Let me tell you today. You have a whole bunch of employees, and they're all working for you, and you could fire them. And that's why it's important to vote. So the main thing is engaging the people and really understanding what the people need rather than making decisions for them. Really asking them what they need to make their life better, and just making a city that works for everybody. So that's my big thing, is just letting the people know that they have the power and leading them in their way so that they can make choices on their own lives.
Yes. I love that analogy you just used as well. Like, you are the boss.
You are.
Like, they are our employees.
You better walk like it.
Exactly. Walk like it, talk like it, dance like it, all that good stuff. Thank you very much. That was a great answer. And actually that reminds me of what you said earlier with engagement. You saying it means like being open. I noticed that with some of these people that are in certain positions of power, there's a lack of transparency, and openness between them as an elected official in the community. And you said it perfectly, like, don't just give them what you think they need, but be open and understand. So that's great. I want to ask you now this next question, which I think would be very helpful for individuals out here, because we see so many different roles in the revolution. It's so much going on right now, especially with the protesting. I want to ask you, though, what do you think is the relationship between protesting and voting? How do those two things correlate with one another?
Protesting is taking a stand for something, and voting is the action behind it. Because you could protest all you want, but if you don't do something behind it, a strong action as far as voting, then where's the protest gonna go? So protesting is taking a stand for what you believe and what you think is right. And the action to show that you really, really do care is to vote or sit at the policy table or, something different. But they both work. They're both good tactics to use. And yeah, we protest and then we march to the polls and we vote.
Amen. March to the polls. Exactly. Take action, right? Just don't go out there yelling and screaming, but actually move strategically, right? We playing chess, not checkers. That's great. Thank you for that. Now for this last question, and I get this a lot, like so much when I'm out here doing my work. But I would like to know from you, what would you say to somebody who tells you I'm not political?
But you are. That's the thing. You don't even realize it, but you are, because where you live, where your kids go to school, where you go to the grocery store, all that has some type of politics to go with it. That's why I say I'm in the right place. God put me in the right place, and I'm thankful, because housing, education, healthcare, all that is politics, because there's people sitting at a table that are making decisions on these things. This is how I tell people. Like, when you wake up in the morning and you decide, like, oh, I'm going to put on these red shoes with these red shirt, that's politics. Everything is politics. Whether you like to believe it or not, it is. When the light turn red to green to yellow, that's politics. Everything in this world right now is politics. So if you're saying you're not into politics, I look at it as you basically saying you don't care about yourself, because it's your voice, it's your choice. So get into it. This is politics, y'all.
This is politics, y'all. That was a very powerful answer right there. Thank you so much. For the audience that's out there right now tuning in, if you can just leave some words of wisdom or inspiration for them, what would you let them know?
Oh Lord,
even though all of this was inspirational, though, let me just say that, like, all of that was inspirational, especially your answer to the fact that, like, you are political, whether you notice it or not.
Exactly.
But yeah, one last comment for the listeners.
All I can really say is don't let nothing stop you. Like, we all go through life. We all have our ups and downs. If you have a goal, if you have a dream, don't let nobody stop you. Be all you could be. And I know that's cliched in the mug, but be all you could be, for real. Because anything that you put your all into is going to come through one day. Look at me. I'm just letting you know. Be all you could be. Don't never stop. Don't let nobody tell you you can't be nothing. Because those are the same people that will be looking up at you.
100. All right. Well, that concludes our segment. Thank you so much, Ms.
you.
Kartumu King, for coming here. Thank you for being a freedom fighter. Continue to shine your light, being an inspiration for all of us out here. We completely appreciate you. And that was the Engage theme for Young Voices Matter. And we will be back with you very soon.
Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna leave y'all with a final message, man. This generation has the greatest access to information and media literacy skills in history. Dig deeper than the headlines. And make sure that you stay engaged in your local elections. And always engage in your community and understand that it's gonna take a village. When they go low, we go vote. Young Voices Matter.
Why vote? Why vote?
I said we vote because of the blood oath that's been spilled for our past leaders.
Represent. This episode will focus on the importance of representation in your community and understanding the concept, and really explore the importance of discovering and engaging into your own opinions. Please stay tuned. This is Young Voices Matter, YVM.
Look, we must vibrate higher, you are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm, storm, storm. Guide. So, why does anybody feel free if magical beings are locked up, can't sleep? Ain't no protecting them, make them bleed in the street. Never a second of empathy, he can't breathe. Just because it wasn't you, you shouldn't cry about it. And since it couldn't have been your son, you don't love no one but your ones. Protecting the killer like he ain't holding a gun. Look, you taking the lives that we're meant to live on. Brothers and mothers not hearing this song, cause you let your ignorance based on your pigment be reason for taking the breath from a son. Damn, man, shame on you. Won't be long before your reign is through. Yeah, shame on you. Won't be long before your reign is through. We must vibrate higher, you are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm. It'll guide. Said nobody should take one step if it's bringing pain to all the rest. I'm having visions in my head of a world where you don't have to fear for your life. I know that they don't understand the power that lies in their hands. But if God had a different plan, the death of just one would make your fire ignite. Yeah, I said you're not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm, 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 storm. Through the storm. We must vibrate higher, you are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If it's bringing pain to all the rest. Having visions in my head of a world where you don't have to fear for your life. Know that they don't understand power that lies in their hands. But if God had a different plan, the death of just one would make. Yeah, say, we must vibrate higher. You are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm. It'll guide, promise it'll guide. Ooh, yeah. Come on, we must vibrate higher, yeah. Higher, 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 yeah. Higher, higher, higher. Ooh, yeah. We must vibrate higher. You are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm. Guide you, guide you. That's crazy. It'll guide. I promise it'll guide. Know that it'll guide. It'll guide you, yeah. No, it guides you, yeah. Hey, it'll guide. I promise it'll guide. You know that it'll guide. Yeah, I promise we are not alone. We must vibrate higher. You are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm. It'll guide. I promise it'll guide you, guide you. Ooh. Yeah, yeah. Because you're not alone. Hey. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Everybody at home, please give it up one more time for Svanoe. That was a lovely performance. Thank you so much.
Gratitude.
So, we're gonna get right into it. Thank you for being able to come here, share your gift with the world. Got a few questions for you, know, and how you speak to the people. The first question, what inspires you to create the art that you make?
So for me, music is more than a hobby. It's not something that I feel like I found. Music actually saved my entire life, and I feel like it's become like breathing, like first language. So to me, music is the most powerful way to communicate to anybody, and for everybody to come together. It's the most powerful way to unify. So to me, yeah, music saved my life, and music is just vibrations. It's deeper than beats and songs and titles, but it represents, you know, survival and storytelling. So.
Beautiful, beautiful. Exactly, yeah. Vibrations. We must vibrate
100%
higher. You are not
higher.
alone. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Then for this next question, what does freedom mean to you?
To me, it feels like a lot of people feel like, I mean, we can be free from a lot of things. We can be free from the ways that we've been conditioned. We can be free from bondage. We can be free from, other people having power. But I feel like freedom
is when all find that same feeling of safety, which is not the case and won't be the case for a very long time. So to me, freedom is going to be something we can really feel all together. I don't think any of us should feel free as we do right now and feel like we can go about our day and be safe until every last one of us feels that same way. So that's what freedom is to me.
100 until we are all free.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And then for the people at home,
Yeah,
let
yeah,
them
yeah.
know to check you out, what you got going on, how to find you, all that
For
good
sure.
stuff.
Appreciate you. My name's Svanoe, Svanoe, and I'm actually dropping my debut project in a month or a month and a half. So it's gonna be called Still I Rise, and it'll be out on all platforms. So you can find me on Facebook at Hannah Svanoe, like Hannah Montana Svanoe, and then and Instagram is H_SVANOE. Otherwise, Southside Minneapolis.
Welcome to Young Voices Matter. We are back and in full effect with our second theme. This theme is about representation, and we have nothing other than the most phenomenal man himself, Elizer Norris, here today, man. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing all right, Brother Lewiee. I'm doing all right.
Man, thank you so much for joining us here today on YVM. And this specific episode here is going to focus on representation, really understanding the concept of taxation without representation, and explore how to discover and develop your own opinion, your own ideas. And you are somebody who I've had the honor and privilege to work with over these past few months, and just seeing the way you operate and the way you maneuver has been extremely impactful and inspirational for me coming up as well as a young professional. So without further ado, you just let the people know, who you are, what you do, and where you from.
Yeah, my name is Elizer Norris Holiday, born in Chicago, Illinois, so I'm a transplant, but I've lived in St. Paul for about 13 years now, 24 years old. And what do? I consider myself to be a conduit. I think God has blessed me with a lot of opportunities, and it's my obligation to connect my people with those opportunities that I've been presented with, and to use my knowledge and my education and my experience to give back to my community. So I'm the CEO and founder of Project Restore Minnesota. We're a community-based organization, and our entire mission and vision is to empower and uplift the ADOS community. ADOS stands for American Descendants of Slavery.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Make sure y'all go check that out and support this brother and all of that great efforts that's being put on right now for the community. So first question, what can people do to make sure that themselves and their communities are equitably represented?
I say really the first thing for me is to secure some financial backing or pursue money. And I hate to put it like that, but I have to. And I know that might be, counter to what a lot of people might tell you, but I think first you need the money, because in America, people respect you more when you have some of it. And oftentimes they kick you when you don't have any. So I'm just going to be honest with you. My father's a business owner. I learned a lot of things that I know from him. And that's one of the principles he told me growing up. He said, you're black. You're already going to have a lot of people who aren't going to expect much of you. You're already going to have the system against you. You know that. I mean, he told me that when I must have been 7 years old when we had that conversation. Some people call it the talk. And then we had it again like when I was entering into high school. And then we had it again when I was going to a predominantly white institution, which was known as State University, for my undergrad. And I've always had that in the back of my mind that, get some money so you can help your community, and then teach other people to get some money. And then once you get the money, go after these offices, man. Run for office. Run for public office. If it's school board, if it's state representative, if it's a state senator seat, if it's city council, whatever the office is, put your bid in there. People need to see people that look like them in these types of positions. So I think that's the biggest way that you can get back to your community, especially if that's something that you're passionate about, is running for office. Now, if you're not interested in running for office, then open up businesses and employ your people. Give your people jobs, because that's what other communities do, right? They open up law firms. They open up therapy clinics, restaurants, car shops, clothing stores. I can go on and on and on about the businesses that people open up when they come to this country, or white folks in this country have, and they employ their people. So I would say for black people, for ADOS people, own something, and then make sure that you bring your people in so they can be a part of it.
Man, that was a beautiful answer. It was so much liberation in that feedback right there. Like, honestly, get the bag. You feel me? You heard my man.
But
get
do
the bag.
something with the bag once you get it.
Exactly. Like, having money without the proper management is chaos. And this man
It's not just up here speaking. He literally lives by this. His actions portray that as well. And I just want to share. Can you share with the folks about, a program you got going on?
Yeah, so right now we currently have a program going on in Ramsey County. Shout out Ramsey County. But we're using those funds to really empower our young people. So for the first 8 weeks, we're talking about personal development, so really building our people up, giving them positive emotional coping strategies, because what I've realized in our community is that a lot of times when we're dealing with grief, when we're dealing with trauma, we turn to alcohol and weed. I mean, I know I certainly did when I lost my mother. I mean, and I feel comfortable talking about this. I went to a span where I was drinking, and I had to pull myself out of that position and say, this is not going to get you anywhere. You're grieving about your mother passing away, but the way that your life is headed now, you're not going to leave any positive, any good life behind for her to say she was proud of, right? And I really just pulled myself up, and I enrolled back in grad school, and I'm about to graduate with my master's degree next spring, actually. So I think that was a good thing. So we're teaching them emotional coping strategies. So instead of drinking, instead of turning into marijuana or whatever other drugs they're doing these days, because the young kids is doing a lot. We know the realities, but it's really teaching them alternatives to express themselves, and then teaching them how to reach out to people, and that's okay to seek mental health. So, and then also teaching them about their history, where they come from, and where they can go. So that's the first 8 weeks. The last 8 weeks is professional development. We're teaching them how to, build a LinkedIn profile, how to clean up their social medias, because your employers are looking at your social medias. I mean, as soon as your application coming in, they probably looking up your Twitter, they probably looking up your Instagram and your Facebook to see what you're posting about. And I don't think they should take those things into consideration when they're hiring you, but they do. So we're teaching them about that, what to post, what not to post, how to turn your settings on privacy so certain people can't see what you're posting if you're still going to be, post how you want to post, but how to turn it private so people can't see it. And then also on the last couple of weeks of the professional side, we're going to teach them about financial literacy, how to invest in foreign exchange markets. I have a Forex portfolio right now, and also how to utilize stocks, bonds, and also life insurance as a way to generate generational wealth. So.
Beautiful, brother. So much empowerment, and really doing the work. Thank you for those opportunities and just continually paying it forward. I really like what you said too, because it relates to our theme of representation. And you actually spoke on this next question. You kind of answered it already. Just talking about some moments in your life that help define what you represent. Are there any other key moments or experiences that you've occurred in your lifetime that really help define what you represent and who you are?
Yeah, and I'll try to keep this short, but it really is a long story. But I recently actually just got off of felony probation, and a lot of people don't know that. I think I've told you, because we just had a separate, conversation, a personal conversation. I think I brought it up, but it's something I really don't talk about a lot. For a long time, I was ashamed of it, and I've never done any physical harm to anyone, never got caught with a firearm. My felonies came from drug-related offenses, marijuana. So I was in Winona State University, and they tried to say I was selling marijuana. Allegedly, I was selling weed, and they placed me on 5 years of probation for that crime, and I actually just got out let off this year. In fact, I ran for office last year, and I had a stay of adjudication on my case. And when my mother passed away, I went down to Arizona to take care of her knowingly. I wasn't supposed to leave the state. But, I don't know if you've ever been on probation before, know people that have. They're really strict on, letting people who are on probation in that state leave to go somewhere else. It's a process.
Super strict.
And at that point, I didn't have a choice. It was either stay in Minnesota and watch my mother die, or risk my freedom and go take care of my family. And I'll tell you this, and I'll tell anyone else this in the future. I don't feel bad about making my decision, and I would do that. I would make that decision every time that I'm presented with that. Seriously, my family comes first, and I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure I'm there to support them. Once my mother passed away, I moved back up to Minnesota. I had to face the consequences of me leaving the state, and they removed my stay of adjudication, gave me a stay of imposition, which means that I actually was convicted of the felony at that point, and I was no longer eligible to actually run for office. So I ended up suspending my campaign, and again, I went in kind of a downward spiral into depression again for probably about a month. And I really had to pull myself up again, man. My faith in God is really what brought me out of that abyss. Man, I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. But literally, it's my faith in God and a higher being and someone that's more powerful than me that really pulled me up from that situation, man. But that's one event. I have many of them, but that's the most significant one I think recently.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Very powerful narrative. Very powerful transformation. Just to let you know, I would have made the same decision. You feel me? So
most people would.
Yeah,
in fact, the judge told me that, but she still had to remove my stay of adjudication. So.
Right. You know, it just be ridiculous how some of these policies and some of these laws work. It's like, you know, there has to be a balance between law and morality. Seriously. We should just be more understanding with each other. I truly feel that way. So thank you, man, for always doing what you believe in. And as we all can see right now, you know, you are most definitely changing the narrative, you know, and being an influence and inspiration to other young brothers coming up on a day-to-day basis. So gratitude.
Appreciate you, Brother Lewiee.
Yes, sir. So for this next question, I think this one is very important for a lot of folks out there because we understand that we all have some gift, some ability inside of us to go out and empower others. Over here in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, you know, we're right next door to the 3rd precinct, for crying out loud. You know, seeing the uprising, seeing all the protests. Mm-hmm. What do you feel people could do if they're not on the front lines? What are some other ways people can be engaged, you know, without being in physical danger, you know, because it's very much a war outside, you know, like it is dangerous to be at these protests and be outside, you know, and also we're in the middle of a pandemic right now with the coronavirus. But those individuals who are at home and want to do something, you know, but might not be the protest type, you know, what are some other ways that people can be engaged in our social justice movement?
I would say educating themselves about the issues that folks are out there in the community fighting for, especially ones who are on the front lines. Educating yourself about what those issues are, and then figuring out the point of contact or where you need to apply pressure at. Writing letters, making phone calls to your legislators do work. I have had the opportunity to work in the legislature in various different capacities, and I will tell you, people do answer your phone calls, depending on, you know, what you're calling about, and making sure that it's the appropriate office that you're calling. They do answer the phone calls. They do listen to the voicemails, and some of those voicemails are ridiculous.
Man, have you heard some?
Oh man, death threats to some of the people that I work for. Cursing them out about issues that they don't even have jurisdiction over. I mean, I've heard some pretty nasty comments being made about a few of our legislators, and it's just like, dude, this is just flat out racist and bogus. I mean, seriously. But we do listen to them, and you know, we do read the letters, and they do influence people's decision. Now, with that being said, you just can't do that and that's it, right? So it's educating yourself, reaching out to your legislators and your elected officials, but also knowing those particular issues that you want to see change. So for me, it's ending qualified immunity, right? Do you know what qualified immunity is? Not to put you on the spot.
I was just about to ask you, like, can you define that?
Yeah. So I won't be able to give you the textbook legal definition of qualified immunity, but essentially, qualified immunity is what grants police officers or really any public service official or public official the abilities to act in accordance with the law, and if they make a mistake or whatever, they're not able to be tried in civil court. Right, or they're not able to be held accountable as long as they're serving in that public official capacity. So, for an example, as a police officer, if I assault you, as long as I can prove that it was reasonable, right, for me to assault you or to cause harm on you, even if it results in death, then I can't be held civically reliable for that. You can't put a lawsuit against me as a person, right? The police department is responsible for that. So when you get these large settlements or these lawsuits, usually it's against the police department or the union or whatever. It's not against the actual officer themselves. So, you know, if I assaulted you right now, you can call the police on me, you can file a lawsuit against me, and then I would have to pay you. I would be liable for that, right? I would be held accountable for that. If you're a police officer serving your official police officer capacity, you cannot be held liable for any actions as long as it's reasonable and within law. So, and that's qualified immunity in a short. So if we end that, then we have police accountability, or at least somewhat of police accountability.
Exactly. You know, and these are the things that we need to start addressing. You know, these are the things that we need to start informing others about. You know, like you just dropped that gem with me. You know, now it's my turn to go take that seed and go share it with somebody else. Qualified immunity. Put it on a T-shirt for crying out loud, right?
Or a hat, and that's what you would also could do if you got a clothing company.
Come
you
on
know,
now.
put that stuff on a hat, put that stuff on a T-shirt, make some money, but also educate your community about it as well. You know, so I mean, those are a few different things that you can do.
I like how you just brought that back around full circle. You know, and with the, make some money. You know, but be educated as well. You know, make the right decisions.
And
man.
donate them dollars to them campaigns as well, man. That goes a long way. Honestly, bro, I've been working in this political realm for a few years now, and you know, the candidate that raises the most money is typically the candidate that wins. And they need the community to be behind them. Not only out there door knocking, you know, highlighting the candidates' platforms, but also supporting them financially, right? Because all that stuff comes with the cost. So a lot of the times we have the community that may support a candidate verbally, but don't put a dollar towards that campaign. And that's why it's essential for us to get money first, so we can put money behind these candidates and make sure that they get in office. And then we can start creating some of these legislative changes, these policy changes that are actually going to have a great impact on our community.
That's 100. That's 100. That most definitely sounds like strategy, and it sounds like we breaking barriers. You know, so I have so much faith and hope, you know, in you as an individual. You know, being a part of our community. You know, very, very inspired to be working together and, you know, creating a new future for the next generations to come. You know, it's an honor. And now for all of our audience, can you just share some words of wisdom to leave the people with?
Yeah, I would say don't let your past define who you are. I think that's a lesson that my mentors have told me that's really helped me move forward, because I do get down on myself a lot, especially when I start thinking about my record. You know, although I've never done any physical violence to anybody, I've been turned down from jobs because of my background. And I actually was fired from my job. I had a really good paying job prior to me losing my stay of adjudication and receiving a stay of imposition. I had a really good paying job when I graduated college, and I lost my job because they said they couldn't have anyone that has a felony working for their company. And it had nothing to do with my performance, and it had everything to do with my record. And I think that contributed to me feeling down about myself for a while. And really, I had some mentors tell me, like, look, Elijah, people make mistakes in life. You're 24 years old. The chances of you making some more mistakes are high, you know, but don't ever let those mistakes define who you are and what your purpose in this life is going to be. And really, if you have a plan, if you're committed to something, put your all into it. There's a Bible verse I want to leave us with. Like I said, I ain't the most religious person, but I do read the Bible and the Quran. I think there's a lot of information and knowledge to gain from both of those books. And I believe that it's Luke chapter 6, verse 36, and it said, be compassionate as your Lord was compassionate, or as your Father was compassionate, is the actual scripture. So be compassionate in whatever you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And that right there was episode 2. Our represent theme here with Elijah Norris, the phenomenon, and it's your host with the Moses, Lewiee Blaze. Thank you so much. That was
Appreciate
great.
you, brother Lewiee.
Great. Make sure y'all are tuning in. Make sure you're sharing this with everybody. Young Voices Matter. We will be back soon. Peace.
Why vote? Why vote?
I said we vote because of the blood oath that's been spilled, for our past leaders and ancestors who have all been killed, to fight for a right that we as humans deserve. That's a reason why I vote, but it's only the first.
Young people are systematically disempowered and disenfranchised from democracy, but yet expected to be a productive citizen at the age of 18. I find this as a huge concern, and I believe, as a young person, that we can activate in our community and create the change that we want to see for our future. Activate.
Someone else will do it better. Someone else will do it. Someone else will do this.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Peace, everyone, peace. I go by the name of Juice Lord from St. Paul, Minnesota. The song I have for you guys today is called Loved Ones, man. You know? I never wanted life to be like this. I never did, never wanted life to be like this. I never did, never wanted life to be like this. I send this song to the sky and pray they love this shit. I never wanted life to be like this. I never wanted life to be like this. I never did, never wanted life to be like this. I send this song to the sky. I never wanted life to be like this. So much pain in my heart that I can't stand this shit at all. Word to God, I really miss my dogs. Every day I wake and realize I won't see them no more. I won't get that call, I won't get that text. Hate seeing my ones go, life been really a bitch. They say life is about progress shit, but how you progress when you still can't process this life that you living? My loved ones been clocking out, my heart drop each time. So when people talk to me now, I be zoning out. My mind been in another space. It's like every time I elevate, I lose one and then my earth shakes. Like an earthquake, rain been coming out my eyes and down my face. They say making it is the prize. But even when you make it, you still will never escape all the pain that lives inside for real. Never wanted life to be like this. I never wanted life to be like this. I never did, never wanted life to be like this. I send this song to the sky, pray they love this shit. Yo, I never wanted life to be like this. I never wanted life to be like this. I never did, never wanted life to be like this. I send this song to the sky. Look, I send this song to the sky with the hopes that y'all listening. These times been hard, I never escape these feelings. Even if I'm rich or wealthy, famous or not, I still get them raw emotions when I pass through them blocks. I think about the times hooping at the lead. Going to parties all the time and getting flea. Talking with each other about where we wanted to be. Only dollars to our names, so all we could do was dream. I feel like I'm about to carry on where we started. And yeah, y'all may be gone, but y'all got me regardless. 23 years in and I've had my share of hardships. Writing this song to y'all's probably the hardest. But motherfucker can't feel this song. They cut from a different garment for sure. It's a war going on outside and my niggas is still the targets. Look a little closer, it's a lot more than the surface. I know that this song is worth it. Free my lace me with a classic, so we forever working. In closing, I thank my loved ones for everything. Sincerely yours, Juice Lord, may I forever reign. Sincerely yours, Juice Lord, may I forever reign. Check. Look, I never wanted life to be like this. I never did, never wanted life to be like this. Never did, I never wanted life to be like this. I send this song to the sky and pray they love this shit. Yo, I never wanted life to be like this. We never did, never wanted life to be like this. I never did, never wanted life to be like this. I send this song to the sky and pray they love this shit. You know, love is love round here. Love is love round here. Just spread love, spread love, spread love, spread love. Love is love round here. Spread love the soul away. Spread love the soul away. make some noise for yourself. You out here tonight, man. Shout out Lewiee Blaze, shout out M4. Make sure you vote. Shout out Hannah, Yevrah. Shout out everybody, man. This song goes out to all your loved ones you ever lost in your lifetime. Long live my cousin BJ, man. Nasty forever. Love is love. Come. Yay! Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Man, never did. Everybody at home, make some noise right now for Juice Lord. One more time. Thank you very much for joining us.
I cleared it.
Beautiful, beautiful, brother. Thank you.
Thank y'all, man, for rocking out with me. Love.
Yes, sir. So today I'll be asking you a few questions that relate to the topic of discussion for today.
Yes, sir.
You know, understanding hip hop is social justice, right? You know, freeing ourselves and doing what we do.
Yes, sir.
My first question for you today, brother, is what inspires you to create your art?
Man, what inspires me to create my art, man? I think it's a big question. I'm gonna try to sum it up, but what inspires me, man, for one is the people who came before me, before us. You know what I'm saying? This thing we doing, being MCs, being poets. You know what I'm saying? I look up to MCs like Nas. I look up to MCs like Jay, Black Thought. The list goes on. Kendrick, Cole. You know, just in, you know, locally. You know what I'm saying? Yourself. You know, N4, man. This where we at right now. This inspires me. I feel like life inspires me, you know, and Nina Simone, she once said, you know, your art should reflect the times, and I feel like if your art don't reflect the times in somewhat, you know, then you're doing a disservice. But, you know, I guess I look at it like this. Everybody's role isn't going to be to speak up or even speak their truth. Some people are just simply put in the game to be a puppet. Some people lost identity of themselves, so they're being somebody else. It's a facade, and these people, these corporations, man, that in the industry, you know what I'm saying, they see green dollar signs, you know what I'm saying. They don't see the person, and half of them really don't care. And my thing is with hip hop, I believe it is our reparations. Hip hop is the biggest culture out here, you know what I'm saying. It has been for a long time, but now it's on the largest scale, and we got a lot of influence. And I feel like to reflect on times and to do, I mean, to have some sense of responsibility with your art and actually put dope things out into the universe, I feel like that's gonna last longer, you know what I'm saying, more than the stuff that ain't, you know what I'm saying. So I feel like everything inspires me, but, you know, I feel like, you know, just life, everything, man.
Man, that was such an inspirational answer right there. Like, literally everything you said just inspired me some more. I just got charged up a bit more. You feel me?
For real, man.
Thank you, brother. Always, always. And then our next question for this evening: what does freedom mean to you?
Freedom, man. I feel like, I mean, it's something in our spirit, right? Especially where we come from. I feel like freedom was once in us, you know, but also freedom was taken away from us. So a lot of us, we may physically and mentally never experience it, but it's something within us from generation after generation. There were generations that were super, you know, that went through, you know, unbearable things, you know what I'm saying, things we can't even imagine, you know. But then we also, I believe, you know, we've had kings. We weren't always, the story of us, you know, it wasn't always slavery, it wasn't always jail, it was king. We once roam these civilizations as kings, and I feel like the thing about it is realizing that, you know what I'm saying. And as far as, you know, the word freedom, man, I feel like freedom is just within yourself these days, you know what I'm saying. That's where the freedom lies. What is your outlet, you know what I'm saying. I feel like that's the freedom. Like, some people are locked up, but mentally they're free. They're not slaves. They're not caged up. Mentally, they're not, because they see the bigger picture, even if they got life, you know what I'm saying. So I think freedom is, I feel like it's just like life, you know what I'm saying. It's what you make it in, and the best how you make out of your situation, because you could be rich and be the saddest and most depressed person ever. You could be homeless and be the happiest person ever. So feel like freedom is like life. You know, it's how you do it and how you walk it. You know. Yeah.
100 to that. 100 to that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let the people at home know who you are, how to follow you, and what you got going on, brother.
My name is I go by Malik Curtis, but my artist name is Juice Lord, and I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota, man. Y'all can find me on Instagram at Hammer Time Juice. Right now, my page is private because there's a lot of bots that's been trying to follow me, but it's been kind of crazy. But yeah, Hammer Time Juice. I just dropped the EP called 6x6, the Forever EP, because this thing, everything that we're doing, everyone in here is a forever thing. This art that we're doing and how we're helping people is forever. So 6x6, the Forever EP, it's on everything. Make sure you go get that. Photos are amazing. Shot by Samantha. Shout out Soda, you know, shout out Wycliffe, Mix and Masters. And man, shout out everybody, man, that's a part of everything that's trying to make some change, you know. So make sure you go out and vote and use your vote the right way. Love is love. Peace.
All right, here we are. It's Lewiee Blaze, your hostess with the mostest, and we are back and live in full effect with our next theme, Activate. And we have a very, very special guest speaker with you all today. Before we jump into that, I have another script that I would like to read to you all. Young people are systematically disempowered and disengaged to participate in democracy, yet expected to be active citizens. The moment we turn 18, we must take action now. You know, and that's what this is all about. It's about activation. So here we are. Thank you so much, Anika, for joining Young Voices Matters today. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing well, really well, blessed. Thank you for having me.
Peace and love, love and peace. So for the audience tuning in right now, everybody at home, just give them a brief description of who you are, what you do, and where you from.
Hey, y'all. So my name is Anika, A for activation. And Anika Bowie. I'm born and raised in St. Paul, Minnesota. I love where I come from, you know, being from the North Star State. I am currently the vice president of the Minneapolis NAACP. It stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. It's one of the longest civil rights organization, a legacy organization that has a place, you know, today in this movement. I am also the creator and founder and director and activator of Run Like Harriet, which is a Black platform for Black political liberation and leadership development. And I wear many hats, right? I'm an artist. I'm an activist. I'm a thought leader. And I'm also right now was selected to be a fellow for the United Nations Human Rights Fellowship for people of African descent. So I call myself a lifetime learner just because I believe there is growth when you're always seeking wisdom. And there is so much that we can learn, and knowledge is power. So I love to activate, you know, the knowledge that I acquire on a daily, and as well be a vessel to give to others.
100 to that. 100 to that. Thank you so much. And I got to say, congratulations on everything, you know, and thank you so much for what you've done with Run Like Harriet. And that platform right there, and literally having because I'm a part of that as well, and it's been an amazing journey being out here, getting people registered to vote, and really having some engaging conversations with individuals, you know, who are just in need of a little enlightenment or a little information, literally. And we've been able to literally see like a transformation in some people who, like, when we come to them, like, you register to vote, you know, I don't do politics, I don't want to vote, you know, but we're not just shallow. We don't just do this to get a signature on the paper. We actually care, you know, we actually want to inform our people on the power that we have. And, you know, some of our people engage in these conversations, and we literally have like changed minds, you know, in the course of like 10, 15 minutes, you know, and it all starts with a little conversation. So thank you for that opportunity. So our first question of tonight, activation being a strong tool of empowerment. I want to just ask you to just give the audience your definition of empowerment.
Yeah, empowerment is so important. I see empowerment as a means of utilizing and activating your power, to where it's you're being poured into, right, and you are utilizing the power, whether it is information, whether it is spiritual or financial power, political power, human capital power, having, a community of different folks, right? Social media power, empowerment is so important because at the end of the day, it's going to take confidence. It's going to take a belief in self and a belief in whether it is a higher power or whatever that power is to you, for you to act on something, right? And I was just, on an interview yesterday with our brother Al Flowers Sr., and we were talking about, just a lot of the violence that goes on in the community and a sense of hopelessness, especially with the verdict of Breonna Taylor coming out. And how not really having a purpose, or having an anchor in like what is your gift can create this environment to where you don't have anything to really make you feel like you're part of something, right? And with disappointing news, with forces that are telling us that we don't matter, right? It's so important that we know of our own power, and I think that's the result of that is that empowerment. And there's this free power we can give by just influence, by creating platforms like you're doing for yourself, and allowing people to hear stories and feel powerful. And then there's we live in a commercialization to where folks feel like they can purchase something and that's how they feel empowered, right? But I feel like what is the real and the organic power is the humanity that we all show and that we all can offer to each other.
Very, very, very powerful and insightful answer. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, I try to be a scholar.
Yeah, I love what you said about the importance of us understanding the power that we have, inside of us, regardless of an institution that exists, any system, any elected official, we do have power, since birth. That is all right. We are born empowered. We are born valuable.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Another question for you, and we trying to figure this out together, I know. But for the people out there, what do you think we can do to get others, especially young people, more engaged in politics and voting?
Yeah, that is right now my focus and my passion, because I see there is untapped potential in a lot of our youth, and especially when it comes to politics, right? Politics is just a world of policies and practices that shapes our society. And, there's like those buzzwords or those political words of underrepresented communities or at-risk communities or urban youth, right? And all these definitions that are talking about us, right? Like folks like me and you that come from, inner cities. But the definition, and this is still very limiting, is that it is untapped potential, right? Because all those other definitions have deficits. But like if you understand that like young people have untapped potential, that for especially those who are 18 and have the right to vote, you have a strong voting block and voting power, right? And last year, when I ran for office, I ran for St. Paul City Council in Ward 1 in Frogtown, Rondo neighborhood. And it was actually, Ward 1 was actually the youngest district or the youngest ward out of St. Paul. Oh, wow. We have the youngest, like a lot of teenagers, We have the most, single moms, that are raising kids too. So you have opportunities there to where these services and like leadership is really important because folks are looking for, institutions to serve them. They're looking for this system to help benefit them, right? So there's all different type of ways. Young people can run for office, depending on the age terms for different positions. Young people can become knowledgeable and create atmospheres and environments, host virtual book clubs or something, or like watch movies together, and learn more about just, why certain things are created. I think young people should also, there needs to be more investment with young people around about the systems that they already exist in. When I was a teacher I was a teacher in 3 different places all at once. At Gordon Parks, in a high school for recording arts, and then transition was at Boys Totem Town. And one of my courses that I used to teach was on the school to prison pipeline. And I was teaching in predominantly African-American schools with young folks that was in transition, highly mobile, dealing with homelessness and, those quote-unquote at-risk folks. And used to teach them about certain policies that was targeted towards their population, right? And it was not conspiracy. These are things that are written in our laws. These are things that are written in our statutes. These are things that conversations are happening right now in committee hearings about this population that is not often brought into the conversations, but often, laws are being passed on their behalf to deal with their situation without young people recognizing their power, right, and speaking to it. So I think there's so much, and I think the basis of what gets young people to activate is the universal language, right, of art, self-expression. And I know for me, Tupac was like my entry into like revolution, and Angela Davis. And then once I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, it was already like a fire was lit and was never gonna go out. Learning about, the Black Panther Party, folks, if you don't know the history, you can often look at that and be like, oh, that's a gang, right? But when I actually learn about them, like, these are scholars. Like, these were college students. These were like...
Exactly. They were young.
They were extremely young, too. And, like, extremely young, extremely studied. Like, they created a community where they had, conversations like this, made... asked themselves questions and invested into a dream that they can, one, practice self-defense because of the brutality that was happening in their communities, and two, create their own community-based ran programs of feeding themselves, housing themselves, educating themselves, and three, also getting people involved in politics. So many of them, in the transition, end up running for different positions during that time as well.
I did not know that, actually. That's a new piece of fact, actually.
Yep.
Thank you very much for dropping that gem.
Yep.
Yeah, all power to the people.
Hey.
Ain't no power like the power of people, because the power of people don't stop.
Hey.
You feel me?
See?
Yeah, and like you, I share that similarity with being inspired by Tupac Shakur, and Malcolm X, the Black Panther Party. Like, it's most definitely lit a fire under me. And I never forget when Tupac, when I was watching a documentary on him, he mentioned, he was like, I might not be able to change the world, but I would spark the mind that will.
Yes.
Right? When he said that, I just felt like, oh, he talking to me. I think he talking to me.
Right.
And it goes for everybody. We all have that power inside of us to do something great. Another day, another chance. So thank you, because you most definitely are walking into that greatness.
Thank you.
All the
Thank
time,
you.
all the time.
Thank you.
And then my next question for you just to share with the folks out there, what are some actions that you take year round to remain active in your community?
Some actions that I take year round. So we all know, every year there's going to be an election. And the work that I'm involved in and the people in the community I'm surrounded by, there's just this surplus of like political capital and like power and energy that we haven't seen, before. So I see that as a thing that's going to continue to grow. So I'm always in conversations with people around, are you registered to vote? Do you know where your polling locations is? I think year round should be creating communities that are hosting forums and involving these candidates and even elected officials in conversations that on issues that's impacting our community. I believe, year round, we know that, especially in Minnesota, we are going to experience all 4 seasons, right? So summer, let's really activate and create, all different type of events and opportunities for people to be engaged, we also know like year round that there is schools happening and like there's opportunities for us to go inside of the classrooms. Well, now we have virtual classrooms, so it's a transition, digital transition we're gonna have to get used to, but we have, if anything, more access to young people online and offer opportunities, to young folks. So, in my own personal life, self-care, I think year round, like folks should be more conscious around where they're spending their money, being conscious of what they're intaking, what they're eating, very conscious. I think if anything, the coronavirus had taught us is that, our family, our loved ones, to check in with them. We have lost so many people that we wouldn't have imagined, losing this year alone. So making sure that we are connected, as a community.
I love how you say that one for last. Say the best for last. 'Cause I was waiting for that. I was waiting to hear the word self-care. I promise you. I'm
Really?
like, I wonder if she's gonna touch on the self-care.
Because
part.
I didn't know what, that's when you ask, like, what are the practices, year round? It's like, oh, man, I'm still trying to get my daily routine structured. So, but no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a huge one to share, though, because
Yeah.
it's important, self-care, self-confidence, self-expression, all of these things, and ultimately self-worth.
Yeah.
Walking into that power that you spoke of earlier, that's embedded
mhm.
inside of us. So thank you for that. And last but not least, for everybody at home right now who are tuning in, if you can just look into the camera and speak some words of wisdom to them, what would you enlighten the folks with?
So my favorite quote that keeps me grounded in this work is actually by James Baldwin, who also was an activist. He was an author, a writer, a thought leader. And the quote is, "Our crowns are already paid and bought for. All we have to do is wear them." And that really resonates with me because, knowing that, have a lineage to, Black folks who were historically enslaved in this country, we don't talk about the history before they were enslaved, right? And I, honor my ancestors who were intelligent, who was royalty, who were had great heritage, and know that they paid the ultimate price, right? So many people before us have paid the ultimate price through their blood, through their sacrifice, through just assimilation, to get by, right? For us to be here and, in honor of the Sankofa tradition of reaching back while we're moving forward, right? We have to understand and know our history as we're moving forward so we can change, and allow and be the force that they're looking to actually heal, what hasn't been healed in the past. It's, what I do is more of, it's a calling, it's a duty, to my people. I see it as, it is a life journey that is going to shape and form so many and build up so many different leaders. And I think, with the quote, our crowns are already paid for, all we have to do is wear them, are bought and paid for, all we have to do is wear them, allows us to know that the debt has been paid, right? And that, yes, we still, have to work hard for what we want, but to know that there is somebody in history that has done what we have done, or tried what we have tried, thought for what we have thought, and that we have always been, innovators, and, to lean on not only our history, but our community to help us continue to wear that crown that's already paid and bought for.
Beautiful, beautiful. I never forget when I first heard you use that quote at one of your speeches. Ever since you said that, it most definitely has been a shift in my mentality. And, just more inspiration to continue to walk into that purpose. And like you said, this is a calling, it's really a duty. So I thank you for that. Thank you for everything you do. Continue to shine your light, continue to be great, as I know you will. And Young Voices Matter, we are honored to have you here as a guest speaker today. And
yes.
Yeah.
I'm 28 years old, but, I could still try to hold on and be a youth.
You are youth. We are youth. Young forever, baby. So that was
Forever
episode 3 here with Anika Bowie, including me, Lewiee, and we giving you all you need, and we shall continue to proceed. We'll be back here with another theme. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace and love, y'all. Peace.
Why vote? Why vote?
I said we vote because of the blood oath that's been spilled for our past leaders and ancestors who have all been killed, to fight for a right that we as humans deserve.
Change is an ongoing process. It is not a single action. And true change, starts within you, the individual. And sometimes we feel it may be hard for us to change our circumstances, but once we realize that our mentality shared with others' mentalities, we can begin to change our narrative together as a whole. Brought to you live by the Hook and Ladder Theater, Minnesota Young Champions, and an N4 collective, Young Voices Matter. I am your host, Lewiee Blaze. I am also a performer. When I would share a piece titled Why Vote? Why vote? I said we vote because of the blood oath that's been spilled for our past leaders and ancestors who have all been killed, to fight for a right that we as humans deserve. See, that's the reason why I vote, but it's only the first. Why vote? You should vote if you care about your community. I mean, look at your everyday life and tell me, what do you see? Is it a place full of peace, love, and positivity? Or are there problems that can be solved and room for more productivity? Just think about it. Why vote? Why vote? See, most people hear the word vote and think of a U.S. president, when in reality that position for us is irrelevant. Do you know about state representatives, governors, mayors, and city council members, or local commissioners? There are many positions of power we have the power to impact, but the true reason why we feel enslaved is within us, and that's a fact. I said I vote because I'm black.
vote because when I was 16, the state wanted to send me to prison. I was young, hurt, and lost, but they wasn't compassionate with my decision. See, my public defender told me, hey, they said you looking at 5 years. I went to my JDC cell as a teen in much fear, drowned in tears. Why vote? Why vote? See, I thought about my brothers and them growing up with no male role model. About my mother and leaving her alone in her sorrow. Not graduating and disappointing my family. I thought about that day as if it was gonna happen that tomorrow. Why vote? Why vote? These are some reasons why I vote. And I feel like you should take notes. I vote because of how many times I've been stopped by the police. I vote because of the trauma that is triggered when they behind me. All I see is a gun in my face and voices yelling, get down, get down. But when I move to get down, they wanna load me with rounds. Why would I get down? Why vote? I vote because it is one of my only rights as an American. Not to mention an African American, an African without heritage and an American with no inheritance. And I'm the only one that's capable of changing my narrative. Why vote? That's why I vote. Why vote? Why vote? Why vote? You should vote so people like Donald Trump won't become a dictator of this land. One day you laughing at him and another day you got handcuffs around your hands. Being drugged up out of your home during a World War III. And all of a sudden we in a bloodbath with a bunch of other countries. We just want to keep the peace. Why vote? Why vote? You should vote because there are some politicians with good minds and good hearts. And all they need is some support from us as a start. But being closed-minded and miseducated is truly dangerous. I ask my people to go vote, and then they all get to saying, that don't matter. I don't do politics. I don't even like the president. And all types of ridiculousness. It makes my heart heavy that my people feel so dismissed and disconnected from this society. We forget it does exist. The power of the vote, the right that you have. The justice is within. We just have to reach in and grab. There are many reasons to vote. I shouldn't have to tell you why. But when you ask, this is it. This is the reason that I vote. Why you should vote. Why your sister should vote. Your brother should vote. Your father should vote. Your mother should vote. Your grandma should vote. Your grandpa should vote. Your auntie should vote. Your uncle should vote. All of your little cousins and your big cousins should vote. And once again, please go vote. So when they go low, we go vote. Vote, vote, vote. Let's vote. I said vote, 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 let's vote. Vote, 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 let's vote. I believe we'll be free. I believe we'll be free. The power is in you and me. Yeah. Then together we make we. I believe we'll be free. And we'll fly together. We'll shine together, we'll rise together, and we'll be whatever. So we'll fly together, we'll shine together, we'll rise together, and we'll overcome any weather. Yeah, yeah. Young voices matter. Your voice matters. Your existence matters. Your empowerment matters. Your engagement matters. No matter what age, no matter what race, no matter what gender, no matter what color of the face, you matter. I matter. You matter. All lives matter. But right now we see Black Lives Matter. And we see black votes matter. YVM.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live here at Young Voices Matter. I am extremely excited for this last and final theme, the theme of change. And let me just read this really fast for you all out there. Change is a process, not a single action. Change starts with you. As one person, it feels hard to make a difference, but once others share that same mentality, it becomes true. And tonight, we are speaking with somebody who has been changing the narrative, extremely inspirational, out here breaking barriers, man. How you doing, Brother Eli? How you doing, man?
Man, I can't even complain. It wouldn't change nothing anyway. We out here, so.
Hey, hashtag we out here, always boots on the ground, all that good stuff. Well, thank you very much, brother, for joining us tonight and being our keynote speaker as we discuss these politics. Before we begin, can you just...
Thank you for inviting me on, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Of course, brother. Yes, sir. So before we begin, can you just let the world know who you are, what you do, where you come from?
So my name's Elizer Darris. I work for the ACLU of Minnesota. I coordinate the Smart Justice campaign. I also have a consultancy, Darris Consulting Group. And with that, we attempt to engage in the political process. Sometimes, we engage directly with candidates. We help them actuate their campaigns. Sometimes we work with local city and county governments to help them engage with community. And so just a number of things. Really, most of the things that I'm trying to do is amplify community voice in all of the spaces and places where I find myself.
That's amazing, brother. This is actually I want to let y'all all know this is a very personal connection for me right now, a very special moment, because I was once a young person who ain't know nothing about politics, wasn't engaged at all, completely looped out of that world. And then I stumbled across an opportunity to work alongside you and another leader, Anika, Bowie, who also was on the show today. But I was able to work as a Smart Justice campaign ambassador, and you gave me the knowledge to know more about elected officials. Specifically, one was a county attorney. Man, that right there. Can you just let the people know what a county attorney is and what they do?
So we really decided to turn our attentions to the county attorneys and the county sheriffs and county commissioners. These are all elected positions that are extraordinarily powerful, but they're further down on the ballot. They don't have as much glamour and as much glitz as someone running for U.S. Senate or someone running for governor or even mayor. Those key positions get a lot of attention. They get a lot of buzz. They get a lot of money that pour into them. But the seats that sit further down the ballot actually have the most immediate and powerful impact on our day-to-day lives. And so the county attorney has the ability to really decide how justice is going to look in the entirety of that county. Whatever he or she decides they're going to put their attention on, that's the energy where the officers that are under them are also going to send the juice to. And so if we think about Mike Freeman, for instance, he made a determination that he was going to pay particular attention to juveniles, and specifically juveniles that had drug offenses. Policies existed even within the Minneapolis Police Department that made it so that if you was arrested on a drug crime, for instance, you couldn't be diverted into a diversion program, no matter if it was a fifth-degree possession. And so their policies were informed by the county attorney. They knew how he was going to inform the assistant county attorneys under him to prosecute those or not prosecute those cases. All of this stuff is coming from whatever their philosophical bent or their philosophical beliefs are. So it's critical that we make sure that whoever it is that's that county attorney, their philosophy, their views, the way that they're going to go about prosecuting justice within that county, it aligns to us. It aligns to a way that's going to create community health for us. And so we didn't feel as though the current county attorney had that, and so we decided to run a candidate against them.
Powerful. I hope you all are tuning in right now, because my brother Eli is just dropping gems, and that's what this is about. We created this to educate our young people more on the political field, and have the
aspiration that we would get out and be more engaged in politics, you know. So that's what this is all about. Thank you for sharing that information.
Without a doubt. And I really appreciate you stepping up and deciding that you was going to be one of those ambassadors, because we put a lot on the ambassador's shoulders, you and Anika. You all had a big charge, and I really appreciate, you know, how you all went out pushing that. You guys pushed that agenda, and you pushed it deep into the north side of Minneapolis and even into the Rondo area in St. Paul. And so I really do appreciate how hard you pushed. It was really critical to us that you know, as I was sitting thinking about, like, how are we going to organize this campaign to make sure that the people who was doing the door knocking, the canvassing, because we ultimately end up hiring about 70 people, that they look like us, that they came from our communities, that this was going to be the type of field canvassing program that people wasn't accustomed to seeing, that when they was answering those doors, it was going to be somebody that, you know, they could see their nephew or their niece having that conversation with them. Yo, do you know you elect your county attorney? Well, let's have a conversation about who this person is and what they actually do.
Exactly, 100. And that's what it's all about. You know, it's about getting out here and activating and creating that change that we want to see. You know, which brings me to our next question for the night. What changes would you like to see in your community? And I know that's a huge one, you know, but, you know, try to keep it short. But what immediate changes would you like to see in our community?
I think the primary change that I would like to see in our community is much more unity. Us having a much more coherent and a much more unified approach to the big issues of the day, you know, whether we're talking politics, you know, whether we're talking economics. Right now, we're too easily divided. You know, people can just slide and slither on through, right? Throw a couple, you know, pork chops our way. You know, and you know, we're finding ourselves nipping at each other's heels over that. You know, I would like to see us really become much more unified, much more impenetrable, and have much more conversation across genders, across socioeconomic classes, across just much more fluid conversation privately, right? Getting on the same page and then publicly coming and hitting hard as a unit. That's what I want to see, is much more unity in the community.
Yeah, UNITY.
Gotta let them know.
Shout out to the queen, you feel me?
Hey.
Most definitely. That makes me think of a proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Right? Much more unity. Thank you for that. And now this next question here, very, very dope one, man. Because you're just an amazing brother, right?
Come on.
Really love the work that you do. But what was the inspiration that helped you pursue this field of work? What was that spark that kind of got you into this field and made you do this work?
I don't know about sparks. Because as you know, when I was a juvenile, I was sentenced to life in prison. And so I did about 17 years in there. There was no individual spark that happened, but there were individuals that looked at me and saw so much more than my public presentation. And because I was young and wild, you know what I mean? And so, I mean, they sent me to Oak Park Heights, which is a super maximum prison, because they wanted to try to control me and you know, get me to calm down. None of that would work until some of the elder brothers in there really began to slide down on me and open themselves up to me being able to learn from them, right? It's not that I was presenting myself as a student so willing to be a sponge. They just saw past whatever I had a hard exterior. I mean, I had a hard exterior. I'm a juvenile serving life, right? They don't put you off to the side and let you, you know, eat some spinach and blow all up like Popeye doing push-ups. And then they put you in. No, they immediately put you in with the big boys, right? And so I had a hard exterior. Them brothers was giving me books to read. Right, them brothers was walking around, you know, the yard with me for years and years, breathing on me, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right? And so the spark, I would say, was a whole bunch of sparks, but it was really those brothers taking time to invest inside of the young guy that I was and helping me to become the man that I am.
That's amazing. Just understanding that, like, this change happens, you know, and it really is an intergenerational movement, you know, like you said earlier, understanding where we come from, you know, and soaking up that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from the ones that were here before, and being able to use that as a guide and a pathway to creating a much better future.
I would say that's the beauty of this generation. This generation, this Generation Z, the millennial generation, it is unapologetic with this desire to like reach to the older generations to get that knowledge that they got. You know, like we want to sit and break bread and chop it up with grandma, right? Like we'll sit down in a minute and talk and chop it up with an elder and try to figure out the who, what, when, where's, and hows. I mean, that's a beautiful thing that's our energy, that's our vibe. Yes. And I really love that, you know, because we're really helping to heal multiple generations that came before us. Like the older generation, what do they call those? The baby boomers. Like they feel so refreshed. You know, we're chopping it up with them. They're like, wow, they're like really asking us real questions here. Yeah. And it's real because we really want to know. You know, so, you know, it's we're a bridge. Our generation is a bridge generation, and, you know, it's an honor.
Most definitely is. And that's what it's all about. Change happens, you know, most definitely using the energy of the youth, you know, and the knowledge of and the wisdom of our elders. You're not an elder yet, you know, but me, a young person coming up, just to let you know, I soak in a lot of game from you, man. And, you know, each one teach one. We're going to keep on doing the thing. So thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that was Elizer Darris. As you can see, just an amazing, incredible being. Thank you so much for joining us here on YVM Young Voices Matter, dropping those gems and everything. And this was the change theme. Would you be able to leave the audience and the people viewing right now with any words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. I would say this. It's critical that we never allow anyone to put parameters around what we can and can't do in this life. If I would have listened to people telling me inside of the prison what would be the possibilities of my life, I would still be in there. Prime example, I literally wrote the legal brief that went to the state Supreme Court that got me freed from out of here. But I gave that brief to multiple other individuals to view it. And almost to a person, they all told me, don't file this like this. Even my attorney, she said, don't file that brief like that. You're going to detract from my issues. The other inmates, the wise legal scholars in there said, don't file that. It's a losing argument. And if I would have listened to any of them at any last single point, I wouldn't be here right now talking to you. It is a dangerous, dangerous thing when we allow people to circumscribe the possibilities of our own life. And so we have to reject that. We have to recognize that they're speaking death over us, right? And we have to say, you know, that might be true for you, but not necessarily true for me, and reject it. You have to mentally and even verbally reject it. Don't let nobody speak death over you. We speaking life around here.
Speaking life around here. I love that, brother. And with that being said, that was YVM, Young Voices Matter. Everybody get in tune. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Why vote? I vote because I'm black. I vote because at the end of the day, I'm the only one that's gonna have my back. I vote because when I was 16, the state wanted to send me to prison. I was young, hurt, and lost, but they couldn't be compassionate with my decision. My public defender told me, hey, they say you looking at 5 years. I went to my JDC cell as a teen in much fear, drowned in tears. I thought about my brothers and them growing up with no male role model. I thought